Hi, this is Craig, 100% VG, affectionately known by some as Cabana Boy. Hey y'all, coming to you today with a new product from a company called Yocan, called the Flavor I'm sorry, the Favotank. Here's the package. Favotank by Yocan. Very well made box, very sturdy box, excellent presentation box. In the box, you get a manual. Well, first, let me show you the tank itself. Um, my VG separates a little bit, so here we go. This is the Favotank. It is on at the moment another Yocan product called the Exco V2, EXGO V2, and I think they look really sharp together. But we're talking about the Favotank right now. I'm going to do a separate video on the Exco V2. In the box, you will get the Favotank. Well, put my finger on it. You'll get the Favotank, and it does come backwards with a Pyrex glass drip tip. Pyrex glass tank, Pyrex glass drip tip, stainless steel construction, and it uses some OCC heads like the other sub tanks that are out there. Installed in the tank when you get it is a 0.5 ohm OCC. In the box, you get a 0.2 ohm OCC. You get a 0.5 ohm Wickless head, what they call Wickless. It is a ceramic head, and you get a spare Pyrex tube, which is really cool. Um, the manual is very detailed. They spend a lot of time going over details so that you can, all your any question you have is covered. And I personally worked with them over the phone and email. I offered to critique, to edit the manual into proper English. Um, you know, Quite often these manuals have broken English because of the Chinese, and I edited it for them, submitted it to them. They loved it, and when you get your Favotank and manual, you will see a good English manual. Um, Yocan has done everything in their power to give us a true high quality product the first time. They came up with a prototype. Okay, let me start from the start. Yocan is a manufacturer in Shenzhen, China, not a distributor, not a vendor. They work with them, but they are a manufacturer, and this is their own research and development design. They came up with a prototype, gave it to reviewers like me, who gave them feedback. We like this, we don't like that. You should, think about this. And Yocan took the best of all the suggestions, the best of all, everything, put it together in this being the final market version, and they just really hit it out of the park. They knocked the ball right out of the park on this one. Um, I'll give you a close up. The tank has knurling on what we would call the top cap, what they call the top hardware. This section they call the bottom hardware. The top and bottom hardware are held together by the air tube that goes up from the head to the mouthpiece, to the drip tip. This is threaded on both sides, holds the top and bottom hardware together. Here is your airflow ring, and I think you can see the notches in it, the vertical and horizontal lines that allow for very easy adjustment. It spins, and it has little detents. Let me get this where I can hold it easily for you. It has little detents. As you rotate it, it clicks into place. That is the smallest airflow hole, a single hole. As you rotate it, you get two holes, and it's very easy to spin. It just clicks into place, but it's not stuck, clicked into place so hard that, so tight that it's tough to turn. It's very nice to adjust. Turn it again. You have a large cyclops hole. Turn it again, and you have a ridiculously large cyclops hole, and that is because the 0.5 ohm OCC head that comes installed is verified by Yocan as working up to 150 watts. That's just crazy for a stock head in a sub-ohm tank. I mean, the most of them out there say, well, we go up to 30 watts, and you see some people pushing them up to 40 and 42 watts. They have verified this as being capable of going up all the way up to 150 watts. If you're going to go to 100, 150 watts, they highly recommend, they suggest that you use 50/50 PG, VG, because it is more viscous. As you get up into the higher wattages, the head's going to have to be able to absorb the liquid faster. My DIY 100% VG is made with the Flavor Apprentice cinnamon red hots in alcohol, and I mix it at 15%. As many of you may know, alcohol thins more than PG would. So my VG is actually pretty thin. It's probably not as thin as a 50/50, but it's pretty thin. And I am able to use this up to 50 watts. I don't have anything to be able to do that above at this point. But I have a fully charged Imran 38 amp 18650 in their mech, and I'm going to vape it with the smallest air hole, which is close to 30 watts. It's probably around 28 watts. Here you go. That's the 0.5 ohm head. To show you what they look like, the 0.5 ohm and the 0.2 ohm head look like this. They have 4 wick holes. Let me get to where you can see it. They have 4 wick holes as I turn it around. There's also knurling on the top, which makes it very easy to screw in and out of the deck, the bottom assembly. Ridiculously large air holes, and there are 4 of them straight through that feed the vertical coil. Vertical coil inside OCC cotton, and you can't see it in this view, but they do have the stainless steel mesh screen in there also to help prevent spitback. This is the Wickless Head, the ceramic head, and it has a ceramic coil with a hole through it. It's a hollow piece of ceramic, so the liquid can flow through and wet the ceramic. The ceramic head is quite a bit larger than the OCC head, but the OCC heads do look like they would be rebuildable. If you want to rebuild like an Aspire Nautilus and Aspire Atlantis head, these do look like they are rebuildable. I'm not going to tear one apart, but they do appear to be rebuildable. The Wickless head, the ceramic head, has a horizontal coil, single coil. I know that's not a real clear shot, but it's the best I can do with my camera. I will be having some clear photos to post along with the video, not on YouTube, but when I post it on websites. And that's the heads. The heads, the 0.5 ohm OCC I mentioned, will go from 20 watts all the way up to 150 watts. The 0.2 ohm OCC head will go from 20 watts to 60 watts, and the 0.5 ohm Wickless head will go from 20 watts to 50 watts. So those are the recommended, Yocan has tested them, and they would say probably not to go much farther than that with them, or you're just going to reduce the life of them. Not everyone uses a mech, so I'm going to put the Favotank on an eye stick and do a comparison to my AGAT2 on a Vamo 20 watt, running it, let me crank it back up, running it at 12.5 watts. Okay, this has cellulose in it, rayon, which is more absorbent than any of the Japanese cottons. A lot of people don't like rayon, but I don't have a problem with it. And I think this is a pretty fair test to show you compared to the Favotank. I have a 2mm air hole drilled into my top cap, and it's a little noisy. And the Favotank at 12.5 watts. The Favotank puts out more vapor. At only 12.5 watts, my my AGA T2 with rayon does have better flavor, but I'm going to crank the iStick 30 watt up to 15 watts. The AGA22 again. And here the flavor starts to catch up at 15 watts. But clearly the vapor is just, it wins. Turning the eye stick up to 20 watts. Let's see if I can back up anymore. Very nice flavor. As you can see, a lot of vapor. Pretty thick, dense vapor. Gonna crank it up to 30 watts. And here is where the Favotank really starts to shine. Fantastic flavor from the cinnamon red hots. Sorry, I blew that one a little low. Okay, I could put it on the second airflow adjustment. Of course, there's even more vapor, but the flavor is still very nice. Now, the highest wattage device that I have is this iStick 30 watt, and I can show you that it is set to 30 watts at this moment. But what I do have that will allow me to demonstrate the Favotank at 50 watts is a rig that I built from a broken, well, you can see my ugly tape on it. It's a broken Ego T that I took the battery out of. I put a switch in the bottom, and I ran a pass-through cable through where the switch normally is, and that is running over to a over there, a computer power supply that is rigged to come on by itself without being in a computer, connected to 5 volts. 5 volts with a 0.5 ohm head is 10 amps and 50 watts. The power supply is capable of putting out over 25 amps, so this is no strain on the power supply. Really nice clouds. Airflow still set on the second largest, going to the third setting. More air means more vapor. Flavor still great. thick, dense vapor. And now set to the largest airflow setting. It's very nice. Very nice indeed. I'm going to put it back on the iStick 30 at 30 watts. Smallest air hole again. Second air hole. Third air hole at 30 watts. Back-to-back vaping. Not a hint of a dry head. I forgot to show you at 50 watts. Pretty much chain vaping and not a hint of a dry head. The head really keeps up. It really keeps up. I have not put in a 0.2 OCC or the Wickless Head. I just haven't done it. But they will both go up to 50 and 60 watts also. I may have in a Sageli 150 watt on the way. And if I do, when I do, you can bet your bippy that I will be revisiting the Favotank and doing an update video to show you 50 watts and up, how far I can take the Favotank with the 0.5 ohm OCC head and my cinnamon red hots at 15% alcohol cinnamon red hots. And I say alcohol because the flavor printers also makes it in PG. But I have an intolerance to PG, so I have to. I can't do that for you. Now that I have drained the tank down some, I want to show you how to fill it. Let me shake up my my mix because it tends to separate. It's an oil base. You know, cinnamon is an oil, so it separates. Again, as I mentioned, the tank is held together by the bottom hardware and the top hardware. You hold the bottom knurling and the bottom hardware and unscrew it. Turn it upside down. There is your head, and it's wet, but maybe you can see the knurling on it. I already showed you that here. It's easier to see on a dry one. And inside the tank, let me move that, you have 4 very large, let me get it over your way, very large fill holes. You should be able to see the light shining through. Okay, any one of those, just being careful not to get it down the air pipe, the center hole. Get my cat hair off of that. Do this where you can see it. And what you do is fill it right up to where you can see it's at the bottom of a fill hole. You don't want to go above that. Like most tanks of this type, they do work on pressure. So with the tank, oops, dripping some liquid. With the tank still upside down, you screw the bottom assembly back on. And I normally have a little bit of liquid that I need to wipe off. Let me get that off my keyboard. Okay. And if you hear some noise, I have to apologize. I'm on my laptop with built-in video camera. So there may be a little bit of noise. But the glass drip tip will build up some condensate. So what I do periodically is just clean it out with a Q-tip. And you can see there is a little bit of what some may consider wasted space. Let me get it with the door in the background so you can see through it. But that's because the tank works on pressure, and it needs that space. What you do is you want to vape down until the well, that doesn't work. You want to vape down until the liquid is right at, get it where you can see, right at this level, right at the bottom hardware level. There will still be some liquid in there, but if you vape it down past that, you take a good risk of letting your head get dry, and cotton gets dry, it burns. So you don't want to vape your liquid any lower than here. Okay. So that's how to fill it. That's how far to vape it. I showed you the tank separates here from the bottom hardware. It does unscrew here and here from that chimney section to hold the glass tank on, the Pyrex glass tank. So it does come apart for very easy cleaning also. This is a standard 510 drip tip. So you can use any 510 drip tip on the Favotank, any drip tip of your choosing. I think it's a very cool drip tip. It has some little heat vents, even though it's never going to get that hot. I just think they look cool. And it is Pyrex glass, and it is quite a large bore. So that will pretty much wrap it up for the Favotank. Oops, I hope you've enjoyed this. I will be getting some write-up type documentation to post along with the video when I post it on a website. The company is Yocan, Yocan. This is the Favotank. Be happy, vape safe, and I'll see you next time.